That's
and
how
I
I
adopted
took
that.
it.
And I
So
love it.
actually, I could sit maybe and read this to my children?
Yes, if any
We
child.
could all do that?
If they've got a good attention span. My children, like I said, were 7 and 9. 7, 9, 10, 12 years old.
Well, at that age, if
Well,
they're going
mine
to
are
sit there and be
7, 9, and
interested.
You just
12,
gather them around.
so-
You could share a couple episodes at the time, but they probably won't want you to stop. You know, it's that kind of story. But Mary Ann's it's an overcoming tale as well. They're all through this thing. Mary Ann has some personal things that she has to overcome. Nicholas also has some near misses in the past. So when they get together, it becomes dynamic, and it is a chase scene of, obviously there's an evil on the front of the book that's trying to, you can see it trying to grab the devices, some of the devices of power. I don't tell you about all of them. I do give you some history behind it. Now, this book does not allude to the kitty story like we would imagine in our minds of the Santa Claus tale. Well, it does allude to it, but it only in very general terms. I don't tell that tale because everybody knows that story.
Right.
But I want to tell you, in a sense, if you can kind of compare this in a young college adult sense, I try to tell you like a Batman Begins, how they become who they're going to become and take that place in history that's undeniably theirs.
So Santa really wouldn't be who he is without this woman.
That's right. She's going to help him
She's
to
definitely the woman
realize.
behind the man.
That's right. She's going to teach him and tell him things that he's not going to know 1,000 years in the past. Of course, he does know a great many things beyond his time. I mean, he is 1,000 years in the past. Americas have not been discovered yet. He's going to know and learn from an elven point of view that these places exist. I use real place names in this book. You could follow it on a globe. If you have a detailed enough map or a globe, you can actually follow places. And I've transplanted some of the natural sites from northeast Alabama into the book. Like you're going to see, if you've been to Knockalilla Falls in Gadsden, you ever been below the falls? You're going to see that described on page 288. But it's transplanted to Salzgitter,
It's
Germany.
288.
Page 288.
I'm going to jot that down.
You're going to see, if you've been to Ball Rock at Chehaw,
Yes.
it's mentioned in an elven name, but it's also interpreted to mean a face like a ball rock. You're going to see that. So if Ball Rock people are watching this up on Chehaw Mountain,
Yeah,
you got to
Ball
plug
Rock's
it. You got to plug in this
beautiful.
book.
Now, where can we find your book?
The book can be obtained at the Jacksonville State University Barnes & Noble campus store. They have it in their store all the time. Now, they won't be back until January the 2nd. They're out for school right now. But you can order it at any bookstore. You can go into any bookstore counter and say, I know that this book, like Books A Million, is on your website. I'd like to get it, and they can get it for you. Borders, or Walden Books, they can get it for you. It's on all the websites. In fact, you can see gobs of websites if you just look up the word bookstores on the web and key in the word Lapside as the key word, and you'll find it. It's still spreading. The Queen of England now has this book.
Yeah, this is fascinating. You've got to hear about
Palace.
this.
The Queen of England has this book in her home, and my thanks to Her Majesty, the Queen of England, if she were to hear this.
If you're watching us on the edge right now,
My thanks to her for her graciousness. She had a letter sent to me on Buckingham Palace letterhead. I received it December the 6th. I shared it with Donna. She actually got to see the original. And the envelope is just covered in Royal Mail symbols and crowns and stuff like that. But I was honored because my author pseudonym is a pseudonym, and I thought that surely I'd get my hand slapped for using the word sir to the Queen. And but she came back and told me I was very thoughtful and thanked me in the letter, and she kept my books. So normally that she would refuse books
well, don't you know,
for
she gets
people that she
stuff
doesn't know.
all
Right.
the time.
From people she doesn't know, but she kept my book. So my book is resident in Buckingham Palace right now.
That's great.
It's awesome to me.
Now, I have met your lovely wife. Is she in this book?
A lot of her characteristics, the compassion toward children and such, is directly personality traits from my wife. Now, the math and chemistry, it comes from me, because I had the math and chemistry. And but I wanted Mary Ann to be a bigger-than-life person. I wanted her to be more than cookies and milk. So you know, you can kind of forget the cookies and milk in this story. Let that come later.
So she did more than keep Santa Claus chubby.
Absolutely. And she will play a big role in his life, a very big role. You're going to have balls, gallows, romances. You're going to have Viking
Sounds like
castles.
a movie.
This is my kind of woman in here.
Yes.
She's sharp. She is a very
Yeah.
sharp person in this book.
She sounds like the lady from the last chapter of Proverbs.
Because a lot of...
Yeah. Yes, I know that chapter. The Virtuous Woman. I know that chapter. the way he becomes a saint now, that also is going to happen in medieval times. It's going to be piece by piece and bit by bit that he's going to learn, sort of like a parallel. He's going to be taught by elven people, sort of like in a Shangri-La Valley, but it's not a Shangri-La Valley. But he's going to be taught far ahead of his time, and he's going to be